Hey, welcome to part 2 of our study in 3 John. And we're going to begin today in verse 7. It says, "It was for the sake of the name that they went out, receiving no help from the pagans. We ought therefore to show hospitality to such people, so that we may work together for the truth. I wrote to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to be first, will not welcome us." Now in this letter, he's talking about the hospitality of the church. Now, back in the day, in ancient times, people wouldn't really stay at inns. Inns were actually very seedy places, and there were a lot of lowlives at inns because most people used a system of guest friendships. So going back generations, if your family had a friend or a relation, someone they knew in another town, you would go stay with them. And over these generations, you would be given this token so that could be handed down. So you could just go to this town and present yourself to this family and have this token, and it would prove to them who you were, and you could stay in their house. And that's what happened when people went to other towns. They would stay in other people's houses. They would not stay in hotels. They wouldn't stay in inns. And in this situation, some missionaries are coming into town, and this minister, who we'll talk about more next time, Diotrephes, who loves to be first, would not be hospitable to them. And actually, some of the church people who would welcome them, he would try to kick them out of the church. And I find that this is so sad, even this time, that the people who were not Christians were more hospitable than the Christians. And I have to ask myself, does this happen today? Are people who do not know Jesus, are they sometimes more hospitable than Christians? I remember when I was younger and I switched schools and moved, and I would go to a new school. You know who, and this is true, I think you'll find this true in any situation. You know who is the most hospitable, the most welcoming? The people who would probably be deemed lowlives, right? The people who are trouble, the people who are dangerous. And that's who always welcome me in these new settings, the people who everyone else looked down upon. And perhaps it's because they received that same welcoming that they could look and identify where I was and want to keep me from that feeling. And so they would reach out. And even to this day, and even at the time, because I was a wise youth, I wondered, shouldn't the Christians be the most hospitable? Even in school, at your workplace, as Christians, shouldn't we be the most hospitable? Shouldn't we be the most welcoming? And so I want to encourage you today, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's in your school, when there are new people, when there's someone who doesn't know anyone, where there's someone who's a little bit of an outcast, I want to encourage you to be more hospitable. Show the love of Jesus, be welcoming, and be the group that becomes known to be the most hospitable group in all the world.